Hello, students. This is Purushottam Vishwakarma, and today I am going to provide you 5 marks questions on the chapter Manufacturing Industries. This is very important chapter for your examination, and the questions I have chosen are also very important. Because this is going to be a very important session, watch till end. Let's begin. Why are industries located in or near the cities? What were its results in pre-independence period? The question is, what is the reason the industries are located in or near the cities? What were its results in pre-independence period? Let's see the answer. As an industrial activity starts, urbanization follows. Industries need different types of services such as banking, transport, insurance, labor, hotels, and educational institute. Such types of services are available in cities only. Cities are markets for many finished industrial products. Many industries leads to come together to make use of the advantage offered by the urban centers known as agglomeration economies. In the pre-independence period, most manufacturing units were located in places from point In the pre-independence period, most manufacturing units were located in places from point of view of overseas trade such as Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, etc. Consequently, there emerged certain pockets of industrially developed urban centers surrounded by a huge agricultural rural hinterland. Question number second, analyze the advantages of the decentralization of industries in India. Very important question about decentralization of industries in India. Answer, decentralization of industries reduces the regional disparities of development. Citizens of a nation living in different parts of a country should get the equal opportunities of development. Decentralization of industry solves the problem of unemployment. People are able to get employment. Second thing, decentralization of industries assures an uninterrupted flow of goods and services in the market. Third one, decentralization solves the problem of centralization of population. Due to industrialization, some cities are densely populated, but due to decentralization of industries, the problems of overcrowded cities that are solved. It makes people to get work at their homelands. Fourth one, fourth benefit of decentralization of industries. Decentralization of industries is helpful for the fair use of resources of underdeveloped areas. Let's see question number 3. How will you elaborate the importance of manufacturing? Explain. We have already studied the chapter, the importance of manufacturing. So let's see the answer. How will you write your answer? Manufacturing industry not only help in modernizing agriculture from your NCERT textbook. I have taken everything from your textbook to make it more real. You must choose such answers to make your answer authentic, touching, which forms the backbone of our economy. They also reduce the heavy dependence of people on agricultural income by providing them jobs in secondary and tertiary sector. Industrial development is a precondition for eradication of unemployment and poverty from the country. This was the main philosophy behind public sector industries and joint sector ventures in India. Export of manufactured goods expands trade and commerce and brings in much needed foreign exchange. Countries that transform their raw materials into a wide variety of furnished goods of higher value are prosperous. Question number 4. Explain the different stages in the process of manufacturing of steel. स्टील की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में कौन कौन से स्टेजेस आते हैं? We have to study. So let's see the answer. First of all, iron ore, transport of raw material to plant. Second one, blast furnace. Iron ore is melted. Limestone is fluxing material which is added. Slag is removed. Coke is burned to heat the ore. Pig iron, molten material poured into molds called pigs. Further shaping metal, rolling, pressing, casting and forging. Then steel making, the last process. Pig iron is further purified by melting and oxidizing the impurities. Manganese, nickel, chromium are added to avoid corrosion. Fifth one, how is integrated steel plants different from mini steel plants? What problems does this industry face? Let's see the answer. Difference between integrated steel plants and mini steel plants. The integrated steel plants are larger in size as compared to the mini steel plants. The integrated steel plants handles everything in one single complex, from putting together raw material to steel making, rolling and shaping, while the mini steel plants use steel scrap, spong iron and sometimes steel ingots supplied by the integrated steel plants. Integrated steel plants manufacture all types of steel, but mini steel plants only produce mild and alloy steel of given specification. Now, what are the problems faced by the steel industry? It has to face the tough competition of different steel producing countries, especially China. It faces high costs and limited supply of coking coal and irregular supply of electricity, poor infrastructure, lower productivity of labor. So all these are the problems faced by steel industry, iron steel industry. Question number 6. What ideas justify that agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other? These go hand in hand. Agriculture and industry move hand in hand. The agro industries in India have given a major boost to agriculture by raising its productivity. They depend on the latter for raw materials and sell their products such as irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, plastic and PVC pipes, machines and tools, etc., to the farmers. Thus, development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry has not only assisted agriculture in increasing their production but also made the production process very efficient. Industrial labor and employers are dependent on agriculture for the food and other products. Now, question number 7. Why are cotton and textile industry spread all over India? Explain 5 reasons with suitable examples. Answer: the textile industry is the oldest industry in India. It spreads over both the rural and urban areas all over the country during colonial rule. Nowadays, in rural areas, the handloom industry is doing its work, while in urban areas, the textile mills and factories work day and night. Wide market and availability of raw material, transport, banking, and electricity facilities in almost all parts of the country have led the decentralization of cotton mills in different parts of the country. Weaving is highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporating traditional skills and designs of weaving in cotton, silk, jerry, embroidery, etc. Textile industry is a labor intensive industry. So a large number of people so a large number of people are required in different stages of its working, such as weeding, spinning, dyeing, webbing, designing, printing, packing. As labor is easily and cheaply available in all parts of the country, so textile mills spread all over India. Now, question number 8 that we have: what is the contribution of industry to national economy in India? Compare it with the East Asian countries. What is the desired growth and present position of industry in GDP? Let's see the answer. The contribution of industry to national economy has not been satisfactory for the last 2 decades. It has stagnated at 17% for mining, quarrying, electricity, and gas. In comparison to India's 17% share in GDP, the East Asian countries have contributed 25 to 35% to their GDP. The desired growth over the next decade is 12%. At present, growth rate is about 9 to 10%, and it is expected that we can achieve the growth rate of 12% by some efforts like setting up the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, in short NMCC. So if you are asked what is the full form of NMCC, what will you answer? National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, that is NMCC. Let's see question number 9. What facts interpret that cotton and textile industry of India occupies a unique position? Answer: India shares one fourth in the world trade of cotton yarn. India shares 4% in garment. Spinning mills are competitive at the global level and capable of using all the fiber produced in India. It contributes 14% to the total industrial production. It generates employment for 35 million persons, more than 40 million persons. It earns foreign exchange, which is 24.6% of total earning. It contributes 4% in the GDP of country. So these were important extra questions. Now we'll study NCERT solutions from your textbook. So let's begin. Question number 1 from your NCERT textbook. These are long answer type questions, that is 120 words from your textbook. How are integrated steel plants different from mini steel plants? What problems does the industry face? What recent developments have led to a rise in the production capacity? We have already discussed the answer of this question in earlier questions. So we'll come to question number 2. How do industries pollute the environment? एनवायरनमेंट को, पर्यावरण को इंडस्ट्रीज कैसे पोल्यूट करती हैं? आंसर: industries are responsible for four types of pollution: air, water, land, and noise. We'll study about it one by one. You'll write your answer like this. Air pollution is caused by the presence of a high proportion of undesirable gases such as sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide and airborne particulate matter. Water pollution. Water pollution is caused by organic and inorganic industrial wastes and effluents discharged into water bodies. Paper, refineries, and tanneries are the main culprits. If you notice, all these words are taken from your NCERT textbook. You can prepare your notes with these. Soil and water pollution are closely related. Dumping of waste makes the soil useless for agricultural activities. The pollutants then reach the groundwater through the soil and contaminate it. Noise pollution is caused by industrial machinery and construction activities. In this way, we have discussed all: air, water, noise, and soil pollution, that is land pollution. Question number 3. Discuss the steps to be taken to minimize environmental Discuss the steps to be taken to minimize environmental degradation by industry. What are the steps we can take to minimize environmental degradation by industries? What should we do? Answer: the steps that can be taken to minimize environmental degradation by industries are: what are the steps? Adopting the latest techniques and upgrading existing equipment to improve energy efficiency. First one. Providing green belts for nurturing ecological balance. Third one. Particulate matter in the air can be reduced by fitting smoke stacks to factories with electrostatic precipitators, fabric filters, scrubbers, and inertial separators. Using silencers for noise generating equipment. Minimizing water uses by reusing and recycling it in two or more successive stages. Harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements. Treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in rivers and ponds. Treatment of industrial effluents can be done in three phases. What are the three phases? First one, primary treatment by mechanical means. This involves screening, grinding, flocculation, and sedimentation. Secondary treatment by biological process. Tertiary treatment by biological, chemical, and physical processes. This involves the recycling of waste water. Thank you.